In this video, I want to talk about Christmas or Christ Mass. Today is December the 20th. Christmas Eve is in 4 days. Christmas Day is in 5 days. The assumption is that Christmas is Jesus' birthday. Who decided that? And why do so many blindly accept that? I get asked all the time, why don't you celebrate Christmas? Many persons expect me to say, well, it's because of my religion. It's not because of my religion, because I don't have a religion. But before I answer them, I turn it around and ask them, why do you celebrate Christmas? And the responses vary, but they're mostly because it's Jesus' birthday. But those persons cannot articulate why December the 25th is Jesus' birthday. They simply do not know. But I'll give them an answer when they ask me, why don't I celebrate Christmas? I will say, because it's not Jesus' birthday, and that's irrelevant anyway. Why would I want to celebrate Jesus' birthday? I could give them a long answer, and that's what this video is about, a long answer. But I could say something like, well, why would I want to join the world in all the revelry, the drinking and the partying and the vice, the commercialism, paganism? Why would I want to join the world in dishonoring my Lord and my Master? You know, when I worked in foreign service in Thailand for 3 years, if you go into downtown Bangkok, even right now, at night it's lit up with Christmas decorations. You go inside the malls there, and they have malls there in Bangkok that would put many of the malls we have here in the States to shame. Seriously. But they're just replete with Christmas decorations. But here's the thing. Thailand is a predominantly Buddhist country. You see Buddhist monks walking around all over the place, wearing their orange robes, sandals. They look very majestic, regal. They smoke cigarettes, many of them. They have their mobile devices, their cell phones. You know, these are those modern monks, right? But downtown Bangkok is lit up. For a country that is 99% Buddhist, what's wrong with that picture? Most Thais have no clue about Christmas because many in the world don't know. It's a commercial holiday. All those decorations are put up in all those stores in Bangkok and the other big cities there in Thailand because Thailand is a tourist hotspot. Tourists are there to vacate, to have a good time, to do shopping, and it's about that money. That's how it is right now. Many persons are already in debt. They're giving their money to the 1%. That's the wealthy 1%. They're going out here buying gifts and presents that they cannot afford. And when the holidays are over, I mention holidays because what follows after Christmas, New Year's, they are looking at bills stacked up. They're in debt. Many people return the gifts that they were given back to the stores because they're not happy with what they were given. But Christmas, it's the colors, it's the decorations, it's the trees, the smells, the feasting, the shopping, all the emotional stimuli, the songs, the movies. There is societal and family pressure to conform. I have friends, associates, who I know don't believe in Christmas, but their spouses and their spouses' families do. But that they're married, they go along with it. But deep down inside, they're not down with it. In the cities and towns that you live in, many of you may have seen the nativity scene where we see Joseph, Mary, the infant Jesus. We see animals in a manger. They're in a manger, Joseph and Mary. We see shepherds and we see 3 kings from the east. What is wrong with that picture? I'm going to tell you. You can go to 2 places in Scripture to read about this, and I'm This is all up here. You can go to Matthew chapter 2, or you can go to Luke chapter 21, and read about the circumstances around Jesus' birth. If one goes to Matthew chapter 2, we read there that after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. Now, these Magi were astrologers. Magi, magicians, but they were more accurately astrologers. They were skilled at looking at the stars and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." Think about that. These astrologers, Magi, they saw his star. We're not told that a vast majority of people saw that star. Think about this. God sending a star that will lead these astrologers to where his son would be born so that they would report back to King Herod, who would then go to where the Christ child was and have him put to death. And if there was a star in the sky, a very bright star, and it's moving, would you not think that everyone would have saw that star? You know, in the movies, Hollywood, we see this bright star in the sky moving at a very steady pace, and we see three kings on camels watching this star. We don't see a vast crowd of people. I'm going to tell you, if there was a bright star in the sky and it's moving, a lot of people are going to see it. But here at Matthew chapter 2, we're told that it was the Magi, the astrologers, they saw the star when it rose and have come to worship him. Now, verse 3, I'm at Matthew chapter 2. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. And at verse 4, when he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel." Verse 7, then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, not a manger, on coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures, that's gifts, and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, this is what's interesting. We are not told that these were three kings. They were Magi. We're not told what their numbers are, but yet in the movies and in these nativity scenes, we see three people. Plus, they came from the east. We're talking many thousands of miles on camel. So by the time they arrived in Bethlehem, Jesus would not be in a manger. He would not be an infant, a newly born infant. He would be a boy. And as we're told here, he was in a house. And also, it was these astrologers who gave gifts. So that nativity scene is all wrong. At Jesus' birth, it would have been Joseph, Mary, some animals because they were in a manger. I doubt very much that there were shepherds there at the moment Mary conceived, because that would have been inappropriate. And angels would have been present, but they would have been invisible. Those magi or astrologers were not there when Jesus was conceived, but we see that in the nativity scene. Christianity has made no effort to correct that. Why? Because Christianity, for the most part, isn't interested in the truth. It never has been. It wants to give you a little bit of the truth, but then serve in there or mix in there made up stuff and lies. It banks on the emotionalism, the feel-good stuff. And at verse 12, and having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another way. So this observance of Christmas is not of divine appointment. Luke chapter 2, verses 8 through 11 shows that the shepherds were in the field at night at the time of Jesus' birth. Right now, in the Middle East, where Jesus was born, it's very cold right now. It even snows over there. So the shepherds would not have been out in the field. They would have had their animals in a shelter. So December the 25th, even though it's not of divine appointment, would not have been the day and month of Jesus' birthday. Nowhere in Scripture is the date of Jesus' birth given. The pagan devotees of the Roman god Mithra celebrated the birthday of the invincible sun, that's S-U-N, on December the 25th of the year 274 AD or CE in Rome. There is nothing holy about Christmas. It's all pagan. Greed. When people say Merry Christmas, they don't know what they're saying. They're saying it because it's something that they say. Is there really goodwill and peace on earth? Or do people just say that? People just say that. Even during times of war, even now, there's a war raging between two Christian countries, Ukraine and Russia. I guarantee you there will be a cessation of hostilities so persons can have their Christmas, can observe and celebrate Christmas. And when it passes, they go right back to war. But what's interesting is that Christianity does nothing, says nothing to stop it, to correct it. And that, in my mind, speaks volumes about Christianity. Is it really interested in the truth? Now, I've heard Christians say, what's the big deal? Oh, you want Christmas. That's what that means. What's the big deal? But if someone doesn't believe in a Trinity, you make that a big deal. If someone doesn't believe in your eternal torment in a hellfire, see, you make that a big deal. But when it comes to this pagan holiday, Christmas, I've heard many say, what's the big deal? You don't see a lot of videos on YouTube from these Christian YouTubers about Christmas. Because if they knew and they told their subscribers the truth, they know they would lose subscribers. Because you're messing with their Christmas. It doesn't bother me. People are going to do what people are going to do. God is going to ensure that all will know the truth before it's all over. Some will accept it and some will not. That's the reality. We've been told that. What is interesting is that people keep on believing the lies. Christianity has played a very large part in glorifying and glamorizing the Christmas lie in such a way that it would create within people a desire for its existence. That is power. To induce people to desire belief in a lie. That's power. So I suppose the question each of us has to ask ourselves, is Christmas pagan, and is it a walk with God and a following of Christ? Does it stand on a solid foundation, that is a true foundation, or does it rest upon a false foundation? Each one must answer that question for themselves. This is R. Jerome Harris, the disciple. Thank you for listening.